Hello everyone, it's Dr. Mick here with the Stop the Stink weekly update. As most of you are probably aware, the appeal by the Environment Agency against the High Court judgment was allowed, and Matthew's cross appeal was sadly disallowed, which is disappointing, but it's a setback. It's not disastrous, so we'll carry on. But one thing to consider. I mean, you've all read about the quite haunting stories of Ella Rose, Starr, and Arthur in the papers, who were failed by the authorities and sadly had their lives cut short by this. Well, and those authorities, they ignored the whistleblowers, they ignored the signs, and well, actually, the Environment Agency, they are the ones to protect the respiratory health of our children, and they've not only just ignored the whistleblowers, they have actively opposed them by appealing the High Court judgment, which is it's quite terrible, and it leaves me in a very difficult position because there are good people working for the Environment Agency. Don't get me wrong, hard-working people who want to solve the problem, but I now know there's people that sanction this appeal, and quite frankly they're despicable human beings, and I don't really want to associate with them. Also, Mr. Mould, the QC for the Environment Agency, he stated that the Environment Agency were being successful in their regulation of Wally's Quarry to reduce emissions, but just after the court, they released the data. As we can see, yes, fair enough, reducing emissions, but this last month, emissions are actually on the increase, so that wasn't quite factually correct. And also, they made the point that Matthew's human rights weren't breached because we hadn't reached the 365 days of the UKHSA's risk assessment for chronic exposure. However, it's mathematically certain that will be exceeded now, so I don't think this is quite right. But not to worry, it looks like we're going to go to the Supreme Court, certainly make an application to do so, and there are future judicial reviews coming up, particularly focusing on how quite poor the EA's plan was to reduce emissions. There's a little more than a PowerPoint presentation, so there's still plenty of action going on. What was also disappointing was in the Court of Appeal, there was Mr. Mould, the EA's QC, and the judges having a jolly little giggle in the court. And in that court was Rebecca, sat at the back of the court, and she's been told that the landfill is having a life-reducing effect on her son. The science that was presented in the High Court has not been disputed. That was never part of the appeal. So she's there worried for the health of her son, and they're laughing. I was appalled at this. So I have actually put in an official complaint to the court, to the judiciary about this, because I don't think that's professional. It's insensitive. This is a very, very human matter, and all I want is an apology. I respect the judgment. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I respect the judgment. But that was just appalling, and I do hope that we get that apology. I'm really sorry you had to be subjected to that, Rebecca. And also, that's not everything. We've still got the abatement notice chugging along, albeit far too slowly for my liking. And then, of course, just as last week, Lee Day have released their Wally's Quarry specific form for sort of gathering information from anyone that's looking to make a claim. It's early days, no promises, but I will link to that specific form, and if you have a genuine complaint, fill that in, and once they've got the numbers and they know the nature of the complaints, they can start putting something together. They have already put in freedom of information requests to the Environment Agency, so they are taking this seriously. So yeah, there's still plenty going on. just the Sunday just gone, we had the Teddy Bears Santa event at Nutton Club. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. I wasn't back home in time. But really grateful to Santa for coming to that event, and also really appreciate the generosity of the community who donated the selection boxes to give to the children. You know, it shows the real power of community. So that was fantastic. But the takeaway from this is not over. In fact, it's demonstrably getting worse. So we need everyone to just sort of dust themselves off and get back on reporting to the Environment Agency on 0800 80 70 60. I repeat, 0800 80 70 60. Or use the web form or the email. I'll include some links for that as well. Also, Newcastle Borough Council, they've got an excellent reporting form. In fact, it's what I told the EA their form should be. So fill that out as well, because that will help the abatement notice. Well, since we're very close to Christmas, and I'm unlikely to give an announcement on Boxing Day, I'd like to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Stay safe. Thank you.